welcome. Shalom. I'm playing one of my children's favorite cartoon songs on PBS Kids. Already seeing them turning around and enjoying yourself. It's a big delicious anyway, shalom and welcome back. Today I want us to talk about schooling and mask. Schooling and mask. You know, we are living in a very, very fast changing world, and parents are almost just catching up. We are just playing catching up all the time. And so I want us to talk about, mask in children. And I'm talking about children really that are at primary level, kindergarten and primary level. I've had such a wonderful journey parenting and homeschooling. And so let me just say up front that I'm sharing this teaching today, or this insight, as a homeschooling mom. And so let me just put that out there so that you understand from where I am basing or where I'm coming from with schooling and mask. So here's the first thing that we need to take note of, which I've already said. Parenting and schooling. It's like parents are just playing catch up, just like our officials. We're just playing catch up because of this COVID that is everywhere. So many laws that are being debated, new policies that are being written, people called to come and evaluate these policies so that they are enforced. But the painful thing is, as these policies are being passed, our children are bearing the brunt. And I'm not sure that as parents, are we aware of the effects and the dangers of the new policies that we are putting our children through. Personally, my children are homeschooled, so they are at home. I'm just sharing this message with those of you whom your children are attending schools, public schools, private schools, and you had to teach your children to put mask and keep the mask on for the duration of schooling. There are dangers that I want to bring to our attention. See, the first danger is that a mask in its own nature, with you as a parent, it affects your self-esteem. When these things started, we just didn't like them. We still don't want them. That is just the fact. How much more about a child who really has no clear understanding of what is going on in the world, and they have to put up with this mask throughout school. Perhaps you are working in a cubicle in your office wherein you can take off the mask and get some time to breathe. But your child, period in, period out, in the play area, they have to put this mask throughout school until you fetch them. Even in the transport, they have to put a mask. To those of you who are dropping your children, the only time they have not to put on a mask is when they are in the car with you. As soon as they go out, the mask must be on until the time you fetch them. I want you to have that at the back of your mind. Okay? So here are the dangers that I want to bring to our attention as parents. And perhaps from listening to this, you would start to think of different ways on how you can school your children, because there are plenty of methodologies and ways that we can school our children. Our children would never miss out on schooling. There are so many beautiful virtual platforms of educating our children. You don't have to miss on your career, really. You don't have to miss on your career. If you can't homeschool, you can't miss on your career. There are wonderful platforms that you can use to ensure that your children are still receiving quality education. All right, first thing, or rather, this is just the second one, because really the first one is that it affects their self-esteem. Second point, it reverses speech development. And with other children who are still new at school, your grade R, your kindergarten, grade 1, it affects speech development. Because now the mask is on, the child often thinks, I can't speak. That is just the symbol of this mask, is that you cannot speak, because the mask needs to be on. And if you think about speaking, then you need to think also, how am I going to project my voice in such a way that my teacher can hear me, that my fellow learner can hear me. And so it affects speech development in children. It affects the mind, because before you say anything, you need to think about this mask. If what I'm about to say, I'm going to be heard, yeah? Like I've explained. Number 2, it affects brain development of a child, because a child develops through expressing themselves. A child develops through playing, engaging with other children, whether they are sitting down having a lunch box, playing in the yard, in the playground. Children's brains are developed through playing. And that's one of the reasons why I homeschool my children, because I want them to have more playtime. Their playtime must be an educational time. And so when a child is at school, playtime is limited. That's the first thing. And now with the mask on, I don't know what's going on. So brain development is at stake. Point number 3 is connected to the previous point, which is brain development. It triggers mental illness in children, in the sense that there is now less participation in class. There is almost like drawing in. I can imagine picking up your child and asking them, how was your day at school? Really, they've got nothing to share, because they cannot play. They are unable to participate in class. So class time is boring. Playtime is boring. Mental illness is tricked in, because they can no longer be children. The bigger aspect of being children, it is affected. Freely expressing yourself, freely playing with your friends. The fourth point, which is the last point, it is the possibilities of other sicknesses. Sinuses, the bacteria of sweat that is here, that you just have to keep breathing. There is no fresh air that is coming in. And I want you to note something, that when God created humankind, He created humankind to live around vegetation. Because vegetation gives us the good, healthy oxygen. So now when you can't access that oxygen, you have a mask on a child. Clearly, something is going to be triggered. Children are going to have sinus, build up of bacteria. This is tough on somebody that is older. Us as parents, this is tough for us. How much more about a child? Now, this has worsened, or it has shown a new escalation of asthmatic attacks on children. because they have to keep up this mask. And so if your child is asthmatic, I would really, really, really give counsel to say, how about you withhold the child and think thoroughly on how you can keep the education going for your child, but also making sure that their health is not affected. Basically, prioritize their health. Prioritize their health more than education, because education will only make sense on a healthy child. I trust that this information will assist you to continue to parent. And remember, there are various platforms. I would ensure that I link some of these platforms that perhaps you can consider for your children. And I trust this really will assist you and ease off the burden and the worry, and the stress levels when you think about taking your child back to school. May the Lord help you. May the Lord really bring this message into effectiveness so that you can go to work knowing that your children are safe. Shalom, peace, and love to you.